Have you ever really thought about what happens when you click something online? You click play, a video starts. Seems simple, right? But in that split second, your request has gone on an incredible journey, maybe to the other side of the world and back. We're going to follow that journey and uncover the invisible world of how the internet really works. So what is actually going on behind the screen? I promise you it isn't magic. It's this amazing, intricate system of physics, light, and pure logic. And we're going to trace the entire path, from your finger on the mouse to a server thousands of miles away and all the way back again. Our journey starts right where you are. In fact, it starts inside your own device. The very first step is turning that physical action, your click, into a digital signal that's ready to travel the globe. Okay, so you click. Your computer instantly sees that as an input. Then it translates that command into its native language, binary code. Just a stream of ones and zeros. But sending that whole stream at once would be inefficient. So your computer does something really clever. It breaks it all up into these small, manageable pieces called data packets. The best way to think about a data packet is like a tiny digital postcard. Seriously, each little piece of your request gets its own digital envelope. It's labeled with where it's going, where it came from, and even a little number so it can be put back together in the right order when it arrives. Now, these packets need to get out of your device. If you're on Wi-Fi, they're converted into radio waves and beamed to your router. Simple enough. If you're plugged in with an Ethernet cable, they travel as little pulses of light or electricity. This is just the very first hop on a very, very long journey. All right, once those packets hit your router, they are officially ready to leave your house and jump onto the internet's global superhighway. And this is where the journey gets truly epic. So, how do you get on this highway? Through your internet service provider, or ISP. They're the essential gateway connecting your home network to the absolutely massive World Wide Web of networks. Your router sends the packets to them, and they handle it from there. We often think of the internet as a cloud, right? Something up in the air. But it's not. It's physical. It's millions of miles of fiber optic cables, strands of glass thinner than a human hair, running in trenches on the bottom of the ocean, connecting whole continents. And get this, it's not satellites doing the heavy lifting for your international traffic. Nope. Nearly 99% of all international data travels through these incredible undersea cables, zipping along as pulses of pure light. It's just mind-blowing. Okay, so our little packets are racing across the globe through these amazing cables. But how in the world do they know where to go? Well, just like a postcard, they need an address. And to get that address, they have to consult the internet's phone book. This phone book is called the DNS, the Domain Name System. See, we humans are good with names, like example.com, but computers, they need numbers, a specific number called an IP address. The DNS is basically a giant automated directory that translates the name we type into the number the computer needs, and it does it in an instant. The whole process is super simple and crazy fast. Your computer just asks a DNS server, hey, what's the IP address for this website? The server looks it up in its giant list and sends the number right back. Boom. Now your packets have their final, precise destination address. And that IP address isn't just some abstract concept. It points to a very real, physical thing, a specific server. A powerful computer sitting on a rack inside a massive, climate-controlled data center that could be literally anywhere on the planet. And just like that, our request arrives. The server gets our packets, figures out what we asked for, say a video or a web page, and now it's its turn. It has to gather all that data and send it all the way back to us, completing the second half of the round trip. Now, this data travels back following a specific set of rules called a protocol. You've probably seen HTTP in a web address. That's the standard. But that little S at the end of HTTPS, that is so important. It means secure. It means all your data is encrypted, basically put in a digital lockbox, so no one can snoop on it during the trip home. But with all those packets flying around, how do we make sure every single one gets back to you perfectly? Well, that's the job of something called TCP. Think of it as the internet's quality control manager. It numbers every packet, tracks them, and if one gets lost or corrupted along the way, it immediately requests a resend. It's meticulous. So as all these packets come streaming back into your device, TCP gets to work, reassembling them in the exact right order. It's kind of like putting together a crystal clear jigsaw puzzle. Once that puzzle is complete, your web browser takes that code and renders it into the visual, interactive web page you see. So there it is, the web page is loading on your screen. But believe it or not, the story isn't quite over. Behind the scenes, there's this entire invisible world of support systems working nonstop to make the whole process smooth, fast, and most importantly, safe. For example, you have firewalls. They're like digital security guards, checking every incoming packet and throwing out anything that looks suspicious. And then there's CDNs, which are a really clever trick for speed. They store copies of popular websites in data centers all over the world, so the data just has a shorter trip to get to you. It's why your favorite sites seem to load in a flash. And here's what just blows my mind every time I think about it. This entire journey across oceans and continents, from your click to a server and all the way back through all these systems, the whole thing happens in just milliseconds. It's literally faster than you can blink. When you really step back and see how all these pieces work together in this perfect, high-speed harmony, it's just incredible. It's so much more than technology. It really is like a global nervous system, a living network connecting all of humanity's knowledge and ideas. So from now on, when you click on something, remember, it's not just a simple action. It's launching a story of light-speed travel, of global infrastructure, of this incredible digital choreography. Now that you know the journey, what story will your next click tell?